Good summer, Roger.
I am.
Any plans traveling or?
No, I just got back.
Oh, where'd you go?
Portugal, Spain,
There were
Italy,
updates
and France.
tonight, and this isn't doing the same thing
6
as when
weeks.
it does.
Wow.
But normally
That's
you post the
Getting to
screen.
get into the culture a little bit. That's awesome.
Hope I don't.
Not my first time to any of those
Mm.
countries, but in fact, it was the 9th time to France.
Wow.
But hadn't been a long time since I'd been to Portugal or Spain.
Do you speak any of the languages? or-
No,
No.
when we first started going there, in fact, our very first trip, I was in Arles, France, which is way down at the bottom. An engineer from Germany.
Trying to figure out if I can how to share
With why the waitress.
Share the agenda online.
French. And my wife and I were talking, and he turned to me, spoken English. And I think so.
Give him a picture on the bridge.
Yeah,
I'll do it all.
Okay, gotcha.
and then this.
Yeah, my wife, she loves organizing. I mean, not to the point of, okay, we're gonna be here at 105, we're gonna be here at 125, you know, but just researching and making sure that we get
the
maximum,
highlights.
yeah, so. I think.
Big drive.
Can everyone hear us online?
Yeah,
It's online right now?
the left.
Chris, I can hear you.
Great, thanks, Brian, for responding. Trying to make sure that we got everybody available. I'm gonna try and share my screen with the agenda. We got the agenda posted for everyone here in the room, but and there's Galen. So now we have
So we got
quorum. So let me see if I can share my screen. Show the agenda packet. Everyone's online, see the agenda, tonight's meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we will go ahead and get started. Scott?
All right, well, welcome everybody to our July 2023 Cultural Tourism Promotion Advisory Board meeting. Like to have the roll call, please, Chris.
Sure. We have Scott Snyder, Chair,
Here.
Ryan Gale, Vice Chair,
Here.
Ian McAllister,
Here.
Omar Alvarado,
Here online.
Roger Williams,
Here,
and we're still waiting on Carly Wright and Jeff Tiffany. But with that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of 7.
Excellent. So I'd ask if everybody's had an opportunity to read the minutes from the last meeting, first to approve our agenda for tonight's meeting, please. Get a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Galen. Second? Second. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Any discussion?
I have a question. It shows both Omar and I were absent last time, but we also shows this big present. What does that mean? We were just here half-hearted or what?
Oh, you tell us.
Yeah, maybe you ate enough for two.
Yes.
Physically they were meant to that. So, yeah.
It means there needs to be a correction to the minutes.
Okay, so we need to, both Omar and Roger were here, correct? Yes, that was your copy. So thank you for noticing that and make sure that gets updated. Any other observations or changes? All right, hearing none, since we have a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Very good. So then, if we can go to public comment, and this again would be for persons wishing to address the board on any matter other than those already on the agenda for tonight. And shall we give folks in the audience priority and then go to the online?
Yep.
All right. Since you were first, nothing? No? All right.
About the agenda.
About the agenda.
All right, thank you. These are things not related to the agenda, correct?
This would be what's on the agenda. So later on, it's things that are
Public comment appearances.
On any matter other than those.
Matter other than those, am I right, reading it wrong?
you're reading what it says there. So
Okay, it's all right. Okay, all right. Anybody in the online portal with any comments? All right, here's none. We'll move on. Items requiring action. Last month, we had an opportunity to review the changes that the subcommittee had made to our event and project grant applications, as well as the capital asset grant application. I know there's a lot of discussion of praise for the excellent deep dive into the program and helping make it easier for applicants as well as for the board to be able to review and be as consistent as possible. And so if there's any further corrections or comments, we can take those now and then have a vote.
Did anyone have any comments about the changes the subcommittee made? Recommending on the agenda? We had the same changes on last month's meeting. Okay, this is the second time for review.
Very good. So,
Brian Gonzalez who's raising his hand,
okay,
and then Sally Litchfield.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And apologies, I wasn't able to attend last month's meeting, but certainly appreciate the opportunity to provide some feedback on the subcommittee's work. Festival Corral certainly appreciates the board's ongoing grant support, including the grant that we received for this coming season. And TOT support is one of the major grants that our organization receives to support our events. So certainly this is a grant application that's very near and dear to us. I did just want to provide a few brief comments based on the subcommittee report that was included in the minutes from last meeting. I'll try to keep this brief because I do understand that there was a lot of discussion last month about them. First, I just wanted to call out on question 10, which is around marketing and promotion plans. I did note some of the additional, at least proposed prompts around that, getting into more details around specific marketing tactics, specific targeted audiences, audience size, things like that. And on one hand, I greatly appreciate the board's interest in getting more detail around these items. I also, though, would just caution that some of those prompts don't get overly restrictive, because I think about, the different marketing tools that Festival Corral uses, and a lot of them are very broad, publicizing things through the Statesman Journal and other newspapers, where there isn't necessarily a lot of real known audience or targeting going on with that. So I just want to note that, prompts sometimes can be more prescriptive than maybe you intend. And then, of course, there's always how our grant reviewer is going to use those prompts to feed into scoring as well. So just wanted to call attention to that. For question 17, talks about evidence of past events or projects related to TOT-related goals. Again, I know we've had versions of past performance and qualification for events. I will just say, all grant recipients do also complete and submit final reports on our events. And so when I look at this question, it feels to me like some of the proposed changes are starting to stray more from the event that we're actually applying for and more about, again, trying to revisit past events and either provide again or provide different information than what the final report is gathering. And so I don't know if there's been any conversation or review this time around on that final report form, but I might offer that some of these types of questions folded into 17's proposed changes might make more sense on that final report form as a way to gather information.
And I think, Brian, that one is more for people who are applying who we have no track record with. So it's a check to, have you done events before and how did they go? Just to make sure that the people have the capability to do what they're proposing.
Yeah, thanks, Galen. And maybe I'm just not, since I wasn't at the meeting, maybe I'm not interpreting the proposed edits that I saw in the minutes. But what I see is there's actually a proposal to strike that general, what are your qualification and past performance around events? And now it's more about specifically around the TOT goals. And if someone hasn't been before you before and received TOT funding, I don't know that they even really can speak to TOT goals if that hasn't been the framework.
Maybe look them up and say, yeah, we've done it.
So, to on question 17. So the purpose of changing the question initially was so the question matches the actual scoring criteria. So the questions we asked number 17 are the exact same ones we're scoring on. And that's just to make it, a little more consistent. So we're scoring on the same things the applicants are supplying us information-wise.
Yeah, and again, certainly applaud that. I know there's long been talk about how does the scoring rubric tie back to the application. Again, I don't want to dominate the conversation, and ultimately it's up to you all to make those decisions. I might offer, I agree that the rubric and the application should match. I'm not sure that I would pursue the changes to the application. I might pursue more changes to the rubric. But again, that's my limited view. The last changes that I wanted to quickly address are just for questions 19, 20, and 21, which to me read more as narrative versions of budget information. And I do understand from the minutes that there was a lot of conversation around budget sheets and how well applicants are completing those or not. But as someone who does a lot of grant applications, I'm always a little wary of when I have to start, continually kind of restate and reform kind of the same information time and again throughout an application packet. And so I guess I would just question for you to really be thoughtful about whether you feel like you truly need narrative versions of the budget information or whether improving the budget form and the quality of budget submissions is really what's going to get you the information that you feel you need. So anyway, those were my few comments. And again, just appreciate the opportunity to provide those feedback.
Do we have, I think Sally and Matthew both have their hands up now.
I will go if that's okay. I wasn't too,
Sally, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if we lost contact.
You
with the
know,
folks in the
it
room.
looks like we did. I'm looking at the list and we no longer have anybody in the room on. So, well, Kelly's on.
so
but,
hold that thought.
Kelly's on, but she's not.
Not-
We're still being recorded, but.
Okay.
I say apologies. I didn't mean to break the meeting with my with my comments.
I bet Chris went to toggle back to the agenda and accidentally bumped off the thing, but we're still being recorded. So watch what you say.
So we're here, but they left.
We're here.
That's-
They're not.
That's,
And,
Kelly says we can.
Oh, we can hear you. Okay.
let me type her a message.
Oh, the room camera went out.
Yeah, that's what's missing from my screen is the wide shot. And that's
Okay.
probably, yeah, that's what the audio is going through that. Yes. Something is wrong with their audio visual. Oh, well, it might be a very short meeting for all of us.
I'm glad it held out through my comments. I got my 2 cents in.
That's the important thing, Brian.
That's why I was here.
I always say, I wonder if technology is our friend or not our friend.
You know, and I almost drove over to the meeting, but it was 6 o'clock and I was only halfway home. So I figured, it's like twice as far to get to City Hall or Civic Center. So, oh, well.
Does it seem like they're working on it? Okay. Hang in there.
I say, Galen, I sympathize because I actually work until 6, and so it was great to still have the Zoom option.
Yeah.
Because as much as I thought about it'd be nice to finally be back in person, it's like I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, it seems even tighter than it used to be to get across town for things. So.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Chris is coming back. It's taken a long time to connect to his audio.
All these years to get easier.
There we go.
Are we back online?
We
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So Sally and Matthew still have their hands up with comments.
Okay, now we lost towards the end of Brian's comments, so we missed that on our end.
So we missed what Brian said about 19, 20, and 21.
Very good. I was just raising, to me, it felt like they are asking for narrative versions of the budget information. And again, I understand from the minutes that last meeting, there was a lot of discussion about the quality of budget submissions. But as someone who does a lot of grants, I always try to avoid having to provide duplicative information in applications. So we just ask you to be very, kind of thoughtful about whether you really need budget information restated in a narrative form in addition to the budget forms, or whether more work could be done to help improve the quality of the budget sheets themselves.
I wasn't involved in the subcommittee, Brian, but I think that even though it might have, marketing X amount of dollars, porta potties X amount of dollars, it doesn't really give all of the facts of, so that narrative does help. 10% is going to be on radio, 15% is going to be on social media, and just so that we can get a little more information with, and then using that data as collectively to help all participants be as effective with, so if something's working for Festival Chorale and we discover it through your narrative, why shouldn't the other organizations be able to mimic what you're doing that's working well? Does that make sense?
Scott, I really appreciate those comments, and absolutely, I always want all of us to kind of grow and strengthen from each other's experience. I don't like to reinvent the wheel ever.
Yeah.
I think for me, just when I read at least the red line in the minutes from last time, I'm not sure that I'm seeing any more breakout than what would otherwise be on the budget sheet. And so again, maybe it's just something for Chris to talk more in the training workshops in the fall to be more clear about what you're really wanting in that narrative versus what's on the budget sheet.
Yeah, and part of our rationale for kind of keeping the stuff sort of the way it was, we wanted to make sure that information was present if it was not present on the spreadsheet, if there were issues with the spreadsheet. So we just wanted to make sure that, when reviewing the application, that the board members had all the information possible. So
anyway, those were my comments. I certainly appreciate the time, and I'll pass it over to one of the other organizations here tonight.
Thank you. Sally?
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
I wasn't to attend last month, but I'm wondering either in the pack and or in Chris's class, is there an example of a good budget, a good balanced budget with, especially with in-kind information on both sides, what it should look like? I feel like that would be really helpful to some of the younger organizations, maybe submitted very many grants.
Yeah, we do provide examples, and we look for the higher scoring examples. I don't always double check the budget sheet portion of that, but usually if they got scored high, usually their budget sheet's in good shape. But that's something that we can definitely work on and have that available.
With the application so that you can see.
Yep, during the orientation.
Oh, during the orientation. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Matthew?
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to everyone who, spent countless hours of their own time working on this. I guess I have a two-part set of comments. The first is I think the revisions made to the application are really pretty good overall and do help streamline. And I think that's really important for all of us. So thank you. But the second set of questions I tried to raise last fall, and it is that by simply sort of defining this committee's work around the narrowness of just revising the questions, I think we missed the big picture and the big opportunity, which is the structure of the process itself, particularly for the facility grants, but perhaps for everybody. I'm most familiar with the facility operating grants. And so the question, I think there are two goals here. One is all of us take seriously the responsibility to shepherd public money responsibly and appropriately. And that's the primary responsibility all of us have as volunteers on TOT, as city staff, and as grantees. But the second for the process is to streamline it and reduce everybody's workload. And so I want to address again the need to consider multi-year funding, which would be in line with the way TOT distributes marketing dollars on a 5-year contractual basis, recognizing, of course, that revenue will perhaps need to be adjusted year over year, or grant amounts will need to be adjusted year over year. When we talked about this in the fall, I think the response was that that's not a TOT level decision. It's really the responsibility of city council. And if that's the case, I think what I'm simply saying is, can we find a way for this subcommittee work and review process to not simply end with tweaking the questions, but can we really see a next step where perhaps the city manager or city staff work with us and work with city council to develop a proposal that allows for the TOT grant making to sort of come in line with best practices of other foundations that really do streamline the process. So I hope that was clear. In short, in 7 words, it's just, is there a next step here that we could work on together that approximates a multi-year process?
I would support setting up a subcommittee to look at that and figure out what we need to do to move that forward. I think particularly for the facilities, it seems fair to have a multi-year process. It might be harder to do that for events, but at least for the facilities that we know, not a lot changes year after year. And for them to keep operating, to have that stability is really helpful.
Chris, can you clarify who would need to be involved in this kind of decision making on like the city level?
So it is their council policy C1 is the direction for the Local Tourism Promotion Advisory Board to review the questions and criteria. In that, it also outlines the funding on an annual basis. That would be something to change policy C1. There would have to be it would have to go to council to get approval for making that change. So that's something that a staff can discuss and look at if that's something that is a viable option or not.
Yeah, I would certainly support Galen's idea of a subcommittee to evaluate. It's not that we have new facility operators joining or falling off on a very regular basis. I believe the last adjustment was when the Art Association brought Butch House in. And prior to that, it was when the Grand Theater dissolved, and before that, maybe when Heritage Center and Marion County Historical merged 15 years, a long time ago. So, but so it's not something that happens every year, even if it's hopefully it's not just a wash, rinse, and repeat with the applications, but it's tweaking from year to year. It's I don't want to if I'm on, whether or not I'm on the subcommittee, I don't want to do too much editorial at this point before any decisions are made. But I'd also like to just from a levity standpoint, if an organization is doing the work that their organization is supposed to be doing, I can't see how they could really risk losing funding. So I would think in your mind, as long as your organization is viable and that you should be able to count on funding. And I believe last year we went to having even though we're still evaluating every application, everybody gets the same amount of money. It's I like this organization's presentation better than that one. It's still gonna make if they're accepted, if they get the passing grade, they're all still getting the same amount of money. So any other comments from the board about the subcommittee interest or?
Yeah, to me, this makes sense and it's definitely worth looking into. So I think we should go forward with the subcommittee, or at very least a meeting with city staff.
Do we need to vote to establish that, Chris?
Yeah, make a motion and vote for establishing a subcommittee just for policy C1 review.
You want to make a motion, Jalen?
Sure. So moved.
All right. And do we have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Roger's seconding. All in favor of establishing a subcommittee, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Now, with the subcommittee that went over the applications, was that 3 board and 1 or 2 applicants?
Yeah, there is. That was the plan originally, but unfortunately, one of the facility operators, the person wasn't able to attend any of them.
Okay. Matt, could I anticipate after the art festival, you would potentially be interested in participating on this subcommittee?
Yeah, thanks for the
All right.
invitation and definitely after art fair. Thank you.
Yes.
It's almost over. It's almost
Yeah.
over.
All right. So we can go offline to kind of if there are people interested, we would want to have at least 3 board and 2 grant recipients on the subcommittee. So if you have an interest, if you want to email Chris and then he can draw straws. If we've got more people than we can use for making sure we don't have a quorum at the subcommittee level. So, but I think that'll be great. So thank you very much for bringing up the points, Matthew. And are there any other comments regarding the scoring criteria?
I'd be happy to serve on that committee.
Thank you, Sally. And then all right, so we have approved we need to vote on the grant application changes that were reviewed last month and up for second reading. And we have a motion and a second for approval.
No, we need to.
Okay, so we can get a motion to approve the changes recommended.
Yep, I would like to make a motion to approve the changes made by the subcommittee to the event, project, and facility grant applications.
And a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Roger. Okay, so we have a first and the second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Very good, passes unanimously. Chris, if you'd like to go over the Cultural Tourism Fund report, please. Oh, there's not one. Sorry, we've got the long month. Yeah, that's right. I apologize.
This is the busy season.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Facility operator grant reports. We just have the Elsinore Theater. Any questions about their application? The report. Report, sorry.
And these are all reports.
Sally, you guys have definitely been hopping lately, so.
Yeah. Yes, we have. It's been a busy June and busy July, where August will be a little quieter, normal summer quiet for us, but it's great to have so much on the calendar.
All right. And Americans for Arts report. Got a party planned?
So there's a party planned for November 7th. Starting sometime around 9 o'clock in the morning over at Salem Art Association.
Oh, very good.
Just want to hear about how the surveys went. Next steps
And
and
the-
reports coming.
You achieved the goal.
We fell short of our goal.
Probably nationwide, you were in the top 10% for,
I think we hit 80% of the goal, 85%.
well, yeah, it's from as hard as it sounded like it was to get feedback, that's pretty admirable. So,
Yeah, it was definitely a heavier lift than most people expected.
all right. And Matthew, thank you for offering to host that event. Got our roundtable. So if we want to go ahead and start sharing what's going on in your world.
Sure, it's summer and I'm Christine with the Willamette Master Chorus, and we are in the process of putting together all the information for next, we have the information, but putting it on paper to get it out to our guests and ticket purchasers, and looking for sponsorships and all those other good things that happen over the summer. Our first concert is our Veterans Concert in the middle of November, and this year, because of a donation from a veteran's family, we are giving free tickets to all veterans for our concert. And it will be held in Smith Auditorium, so there will be plenty of seating for that.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Neftali. I am part of Casa de la Cultura Tlanense. We're hosting our two events. Our first event was in August of 2020, August 24 and 25 this year, which is our competition of Wabango competition. And right now we are all of June and July. We've been really busy with all trying to get our sponsorships. We recently just got our acceptance by our music, our live music. So we're going to be posting live music as well. And we are going to be doing our event at the Capitol. Yeah. And our second event, which is Dia de Muertos, we are hosting it in November, the first weekend of November. And we're still working on that as well.
Very good. Thanks for being here. Chris, if you want to call in order of the online.
Unpin. So, Michael, I see your first face there.
Sorry, was
Did you
that
mean
me?
Matthew?
Was that me, Chris? Matthew?
Yeah, that was you, Matthew.
Thanks. So big thing for us is Art Fair next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll start at 10 o'clock with the Children's Parade, which culminates with Caesar, the No Drama Llama. There's no better way to start an event than with Caesar and bagpipes. Friday night, we'll have this incredible 4 or 5 hours of summer party music. We've got a band that plays summer hits from all the decades, followed by an ABBA tribute band. So that's Friday night. We have more artists than ever before. We have fire dancers, buskers, more food, more ice cream, more shade, more trees. So all are welcome, and we'd love to see you.
Hopefully it'll get back in the 80s rather than the 90s by then. So
I saw it creep up on the forecast to 91, and we want, you're right, we want 80s, but we have no control.
that's true.
Next up, I see Paleo, Jalala. I'm saying that correct.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Well, I'm part of also Casa de la Cultura Tlanense, and like Neftali mentioned, We're just so excited. We're already working on our posters. So we're putting our posters at the end of this week. And we're just so excited because we're going to be having the 2 live bands from Mexico playing live music. So we're just so excited about that. And yeah, we're getting them interviews around here because it's their first time being in Oregon and in Salem. So we're getting them interviews around other parts of radio stations, local radio stations. And also for Dia de Muertos, we're already planning our committee for Dia de Muertos. So we're excited because we're working with a lot of other dance groups and other musicians and local artists that are going to come and perform. And we're going to be building our bigger community altar for Dia de Muertos as well.
Cool. Thank you. Next up, I got Sally from the Elsinore.
Thanks, Chris. We just finished up 3 show gospel music caravan tour yesterday, and we had a lot of wonderful senior citizens that came and saw that, so that was great. The next show is this coming Saturday, X with English Beat, and then just a minute, Sam. And then we move to comedy the following Friday with Matt Rife, 2 sold out shows. And the Rush Collective on August 25th. And we decided to add 3 tours this summer. The Saturday before Ironman, we'll be having 2 tour times, 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. And then sometime in August, where we will have another tour possibility. And those will be up on our website. So if you have anybody that's coming into town that you want to share the theater with, we would be happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Sue Carnish with Willamette Arts Center.
Hi, we are in the process of finishing up our summer classes. They'll end the end of July, and then we're going full throttle, of course, on Artisans Village at the State Fair. That's pretty much what we're doing. And then on another note, we are also in the process of seeking a new executive director because Doug has decided that he's got too much going on, and so he's going to bow out here. So that's what we're doing.
Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, busy.
All right, thank you. Brian, Festival Corral.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We're excited getting ready for our 45th season this coming year. And so have a lot of planning underway for that. Our first concert's actually going to be major Catholic work, and we'll be performing that at St. Mary Church in Mount Angel in November. So we're excited. We were there about 26 years ago, I think, performing this work, and we're excited to return to the community. Haven't performed there in many years since then, and so look forward to that. Also looking forward to Art Fair this month. We'll have a booth, as always, in the community organization area, and it's always a great opportunity for us to connect with audience members and potential singers alike. So looking forward to that opportunity.
Thank you. Irene from Travel Salem, what's happening there?
I stepped out right.
Yeah.
Well, senior softball's in town right now. As I was walking out, Debbie said, be sure to tell them it's one of the biggest that they've had at Wallace in a really, really long time. So that's really exciting. Tomorrow, you're all invited at 10 o'clock at the Salem Airport. Did someone already announce it?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, they're going to be announcing air service. So you're all invited for that. And then we have Ironman coming up the 21st, 23rd. They start coming in around the 20th. The 21st is when the village will open down at the riverfront, and the event is actually on the 23rd. And yeah, the main event is Sunday. So it's really exciting. If you haven't been out there, it's something to see. The Willamette's full of people swimming. You see the park full of bikes, and each of those bikes is like $7,000 to $10,000, and it's quite large. And we'll have a visitors booth there. We'll be promoting all of the attractions. We're putting coupons on our table and in the bags for all of them. And so, yeah, we're trying to get people just out and about in the community as much as possible.
That's very good. Awesome. Thank you very much.
That's all we have.
All right. Any other business or parking lot items for future discussion?
One parking lot item that was there was made a motion and approved at the last meeting, increasing the CIP grant award amount. So
The maximum of 20, yeah, still needs to be matched, but that way, bigger projects.
so if there's any other board issues or questions or business you'd like to address or talk about?
I am not aware of any. I think the subcommittee that we have on the agenda, reminder, no meeting in August. So I do have a request of the board. I am a longtime board member, and this meeting always took place on the second Tuesday of the month. And I can't tell you how many times over the last year I almost forget about Wednesday night meeting. And so I would like to humbly request that we had made this adjustment to accommodate Felipe's school schedule, but that if we can move back to Tuesday for my hopefully less forgetfulness, because it's a little more in my routine. So that would be my request, that we move our meeting in September back to the second Tuesday going forward.
I don't have any problem with that. My one concern is, Chris, what is it like for finding space on Tuesday nights?
I think we're okay.
Oh, good.
I think we can. Reserve this spot.
That's fine with me, because during the school year, I often have a conflict on Wednesdays.
What did you say, Roger?
I said, I personally don't have any problem.
Omar, how about you? Haven't heard.
You might have lost Omar.
Maybe. No response. I'm down there, but I don't see him.
All right, so.
Hey, sorry, do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's because I'm outside and I guess it's kind of messy out here. What was that again? I'm sorry.
So I made a motion, Omar. We had accommodated Felipe's schedule with school to move the meetings to Wednesday nights.
Oh, back to Tuesday.
Be able to attend, and I am just, it's ingrained in me that this meeting takes place on the second Tuesday, and I was almost halfway home and had to turn around tonight just because it's like, it's Wednesday. So I would like to request that we move the meeting back to the second Tuesday of each month after, since August is our no meeting month, it would be effective in September.
And I'd like to second Scott's motion.
Any discussion?
Oh, okay. I agree. That's fine with me.
All right, so all in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? All right, very good. Thank you very much for entertaining a old fuddy-duddy type person, so I appreciate it very much. So with nothing else on the agenda, I have to echo Irene's excitement for the airline. They're going to be announcing what airport they're going to fly into in the LA basin, as well as Vegas, correct? Okay, somewhere.
I think you just gave it away.
But tomorrow we'll find out what the airline is tomorrow. So, which is very exciting, and I believe tickets would be going on sale for flights as early as October. So, this is a big darn deal for Salem, Oregon, and it's applaud the city of Salem council for helping make this possible. All the hurdles Salem has had to go through to get TSA on board. It's going to be a big deal. So appreciate everybody's time and being here and helping make our TOT as effective as possible. So no further comments. We are adjourned.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.